Coming up on the Q30 newscast, the university will now include residential dorms into their tours. Plus, find out if students will have to be 6 feet apart in the classroom.
And hear from one Q-thon miracle family about how they've been doing in the midst of a pandemic. All this and more coming up on the Q30 newscast.
Hello and welcome to the Q30 newscast. My name is Luca Triant.
And I'm Maggie Smith. We have a lot of news to get through tonight, so let's jump right into it. First, let's take a look at today's COVID-19 numbers. Quinnipiac University continues to be at a green alert level with 39 total active cases of COVID-19 in isolation as of today, March 24th.
From a total number of 2,275 tests done this week, there are 14 positive COVID-19 cases, with 9 on campus and 5 off-campus cases, for a positivity rate of 0.6% this week.
Beginning on March 20th, residential students have been permitted to host another QU residential student from other residence halls in their rooms, with the consent of their roommates. Visitors are now allowed between 9 a.m. and 11 p.m. and must wear a face covering at all times.
Excited about meeting new students. Like I'm a first-year student, and my only friends are from my resident hall because that's what I was limited to, which I'm very grateful for because I met very wonderful people. But I'm so excited to go into other dorms and first of all see them, and second of all meet new.
Students must continue adhering to indoor gathering limits but have a bit more freedom with the new protocols put in place. Continuing with updated protocols, Hepzibah Rajan takes a look at new guidelines surrounding campus tours and where they can go.
Students received an email on Sunday informing them about the start of dorm tours for accepted students. This came as a shock to freshman students who opened their doors to find tour groups outside their door.
We have a lot of restrictions here on campus, so I think it's kind of strange how these random people can just kind of walk in whenever they want. Really no warning. I didn't get a warning this morning when I opened my door. There was just a tour going by.
As part of the tour, participants will be shown a designated showroom in either Commons or Irma. Each tour allows a maximum of 9 people and only 4 people enter the residence hall at a time. Students were angry that the school was taking such a step despite the precautionary measures in place.
I don't really understand where it's coming from because these people on those tours, they don't have to be negatively tested. They could just come in. And they can come in and walk through my hallway while my door is open.
Some students suggested that the dorm tours should have continued being virtual.
I think that dorm tours should have continued to be virtual. I go to this campus, I'm a first-year student, I got tested once a week, and the fact that our sophomore dorm tour was done on Zoom and I couldn't go into a dorm, yet someone from miles away who was just looking at the school can walk into the dorm.
Loosening the restrictions on campus have left some students uneasy about whether the school is moving too fast.
I think we're all moving a little bit too quickly in terms of, like the cases are going down, people are getting vaccinated, but there's still millions of positive cases. There's still, a huge death toll across the country.
The campus positivity rate has increased by 0.3% since last Sunday. It is still unsure whether lifting these restrictions will help the Bobcat community. For Q30 News, I'm Hepzibah Rajan.
The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has stated that students in classrooms can now sit at 3 feet apart. The new guidance from the agency, which reduced the distance from 6 feet, means that schools all across the country, especially where COVID-19 isn't as much of a risk, can have students sit closer, also allowing for more space to be freed for more students. The guidance is targeted at more schools with younger students, while teachers still must be 6 feet apart from students at all times in school. Lots will be changing after the summer and into the fall semester. Samantha Pirelli has more on what we can expect in the fall.
This past Thursday, Provost Deborah Leibowitz announced to Quinnipiac students and families the new and improved expectations for fall 2021 semester. Many students are excited to see new changes on campus.
There's hope then that we can have a better experience on campus because being first year, I know
It's not what I expected.
The email stated Quinnipiac will hold larger social gatherings and more in-person classes since students and faculty will be getting vaccinated before returning in the fall. Although students are excited about the restrictions decreasing, there are still concerns about students becoming careless.
Kids not following procedures, students just being careless in general, so that's my main concern.
Provost Leibowitz mentions getting vaccinated is a priority for the university and students to function regularly.
Is going to be most important is get vaccinated when you can.
A majority of students do plan on getting vaccinated before the upcoming fall semester.
As a college student, it's just a smart idea, especially since I have family who's older and, prone to getting sick, and I would just like to protect them.
Although we will still be wearing masks and taking social distance precautions, vaccinations are one step closer to bringing students together again for fall semester safely. I'm Samantha Pirelli, reporting for Q30 News.
Another expectation for the fall semester involves international students. In an email sent by the Director of International Students on Tuesday, students who live abroad will be expected to return to campus in person for the fall semester.
While international students were able to continue education at Quinnipiac online at home, the email states that in order for international students to be qualified to attend Quinnipiac, they must be taking a certain amount of in-person classes. The Student Exchange and Visitor Program, which handles international students, is expected to offer official guidance towards the end of the semester. Beginning March 20th, Quinnipiac restored shuttle service at 50% capacity. The shuttle now operates Saturday and Sunday, noon to 11 p.m., and stops at Barnes & Noble, Subway, Best Buy, Buffalo Wild Wings, Panera Bread, Target, and Stop & Shop.
Quinnipiac University has been holding its annual BOBCAT Days of Giving fundraising event since yesterday and until tomorrow. During the period, students can show their support to the university and their pride as a Bobcat by donating money that will go into academics, athletics, and more. Q30's own Melanie Carreri spoke to the Director of Annual Giving, Andrew Bernstein, about the Days of Giving.
I really want to help students have a better experience than I had, and really help to kind of make the student experience great, because I think often in education we lose focus that the students are the most important thing. We're here because of the students, and to kind of make that experience better.
4 Quinnipiac Law alumni have been nominated to the Superior Court of Connecticut. The nominations, announced by Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont, are included among a list of 15 potential jurists for the Superior Court. The Quinnipiac alumni are John Sorello, William Clark, Angelica Papastravos, and Chris Pelosi. Jennifer Garada Brown, Dean of the School of Law, said that she was, quote, incredibly proud that Quinnipiac Law makes up more than 25% of the most recently appointed Superior Court judges, end quote. Students are invited to attend a Zoom talk and Q&A called Pandemic Protest Privilege, featuring activist, scholar, and minister Dr. Niall Fort on Thursday, March 25th at 7 p.m. The event will explore not only how the pandemic reveals deeper patterns of racial inequality, but how students can respond in order to, quote, save, quote, our fragile experiment in democracy, end quote. Webinar registration has been opened and students can reserve their virtual seats.
Teresa Toomey of South Windsor has been appointed chair of undergraduate nursing at Quinnipiac University. Toomey currently is an associate professor of nursing and serves as director of Quinnipiac's Global Nursing Experience. Over the past 4 years, she has led students on experiential learning trips to Central America. She said, quote, being selected as chair will allow me to work collaboratively with faculty and staff in an effort to meet the School of Nursing's mission, vision, and values, and prepare our students to be nurses of the future, end quote.
The School of Business has announced that Bruce Sollner, professor of computer information systems, has passed away on March 21st. Sollner fought a 14th-month battle with cancer after decades in the Quinnipiac family, having been hired in 1972 to start the undergraduate program in computer science. Sollner also published more than 20 academic scholarly articles and won many career awards, including the Professor Emeritus of Computer Information Systems at Quinnipiac University just this year. Q30's own Hannah Mirsky spoke with class of 2020 alumni Brendan Brooks about how Sollner impacted his time at Quinnipiac.
One of the things that always stuck with me about Bruce is he said not only does he teach, but he teaches how to basically go through life, which was something at first, I was confused when he said that, but by the end of the semester, I really got it. I actually had the opportunity to be with Bruce. He was my advisor, and then I also took 3 classes.
The university plans to hold a memorial celebration of Solomon's life when conditions are safer.
After this short commercial break, we have a national news update you don't want to miss.
But before we go, Eric Kerr has a short weather update for us. Eric?
Thanks, Luca. Maggie, we have a lot of rain coming up, a little bit of rain tonight, just a little bit of a drizzle, but expect more rain coming up on Friday and also on Sunday as well. You don't want to miss it coming up on the Q30 weather forecast.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. It's here. It's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. What? My. Oh. What camera we come back from?
Q-thon is set to happen soon, and already many are looking forward to it. Q30's own Vanessa Blasi and myself spoke to a Miracle family about what they're looking forward to with the event.
Welcome, everyone, to the Q30 newscast. I'm Vanessa Blasi, and I'm here with Luca Trion, and we are with Q-thon's Miracle family, the BOBCATS, and their miracle child, Ariella. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Today we want to talk about the challenges that the pandemic has brought to you and your family, Ariella, as well as our Q-thon coming soon. So if you're ready, let's get started with the pandemic. How did the pandemic play a role with your family this year?
Ariella's the healthiest she's ever been. COVID has been a blessing for Ariella's health. And,
not a blessing for my fun.
No, not for her fun.
No play dates.
And so let's just talk about something fun then, about Q-thon, right? What is your favorite Q-thon experience?
The time to really hang out with the group and do an activity was enjoyable for them.
Going off of that, what does Q-thon mean to you and your family and to Ariella?
The fact that Quinnipiac continues to partner with CCMC year after year is really important to us. It makes a difference. Thank you guys so much for not letting the pandemic stop you.
Well, thank you guys so much for being with us over Zoom today. We are really looking forward to bringing this year's Q-thon to life and everything that you guys talked about today.
Be on the lookout for more Miracle families that we're going to be talking to in the upcoming weeks. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Botts and Ariella. I'm Luca Trion.
I'm Vanessa Blasi for Q30 News.
Will Fowler is here with a national news update. What do you have for us, Will?
Thank you, Maggie. The big story this week, 10 people were shot and killed by an active shooter in Boulder, Colorado, in a Boulder, Colorado grocery store on Thursday. The gunman was identified as 21-year-old Ahmad Al-Aliwi Alisa, and he's been taken into custody by Boulder police. He faces 10 counts of first-degree murder and 1 charge of attempted murder. Among the victims was police officer Eric Talley and store manager Ricky Olds. This incident is the latest in a string of tragic shootings, and it comes just 1 week after shootings in Atlanta left 8 dead. The ASTRAZENECA vaccine has come under fire in the United States after reports that it may have provided results that relied on outdated information. U.S. health officials have said that the results may have been based on, quote, an incomplete view of the efficacy data. The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, headed by Dr. Anthony Fauci, urged the company to, quote, review the efficacy data and ensure the most accurate, up-to-date data be made public as quickly as possible. If the AstraZeneca vaccine gets approved in the United States, it would become the 4th version available to Americans, along with the Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna vaccines. As more of the American population gets vaccinated, a return to normalcy draws nearer and nearer. The latest pre-pandemic norm that is set to come back in some areas is in-person learning. Every area has its own timeline, of course, but some of the biggest regions are getting set to come back, one of which is New York City. New York parents whose children have been enrolled in remote schooling will have another chance to re-enroll them in on-ground learning until April 5th. It's important to note that this only applies to elementary school students for now, but that will change as we get further along in the vaccination track. The CDC recently adjusted the social distancing guideline to 3 feet instead of 6, which is a decision that most expect to make in-person schooling much more reasonable. That's it for this week's national news. Let's get back to Luca and Maggie at the desk.
Now for some local news, Mayor of Hamden, Kurt Lang, has announced tax cuts for Hamden this year. The mayor gave his recommended budget for the town to the Legislative Council, which offers a tax decrease to Hamden residents. In an address where he announced the budget, Mayor Lang said he and his government understood how hard Hamden residents have been hit by high taxes and the pandemic, and says more resources for the town are coming, both from the state and federal governments.
Vice President Kamala Harris will travel to New Haven on Friday, March 26th. This is a part of the Biden administration's Help Us Here tour, highlighting how the child tax credit in the American Rescue Plan helps families. Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro sent a statement Tuesday night. She wrote, quote, "I am looking forward to Vice President Kamala Harris's visit to Connecticut and introducing her to some of the children in hard-working families whose lives have been forever changed by COVID-19, end quote.
New Haven's annual Rock to Rock Ride Day event is set to happen once again this year. During the event, local residents can bike, walk, or run around the areas of East Rock or West Rock in support of a local charity. While the event is happening this year, there are some changes. Participants will only be able to ride with their immediate household, while groups will be launched to ride at different times. The event hopes to continue raising funds to support the environment, even amidst the pandemic.
Mayor Kurt Lang and Police Chief Sullivan have announced the continuation of the Crime Prevention and Community Resolutions discussions, which began in January. The 4th discussion is to be held this Thursday, March 25th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. All members of the public are invited to attend the meeting. The purpose of the discussion series is to update residents on efforts being taken to address increases in crime and to help facilitate healthy discussions and resolutions regarding crime prevention and public safety within the town of Hamden.
It's time for another short commercial break.
When we come back, get ready for a full weather update and news on what's been going on in politics.
Don't go anywhere.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spotting on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Well, Maggie, I don't know about you, but it's been really nice seeing so many students out in the quad recently.
Yes, and the thing I'm wondering, Luca, is how long is this nice weather going to stay? Well, here with the scoop on the upcoming weather is Eric Kerr. What have you got for us, Eric?
Well, guys, as you've mentioned, the weather has been great as of late, as we'll take a look at some of the temperatures around the entire Connecticut area first. You notice that everything is all in the 50s, except for New London. That's at 47. Norwich right behind it at 50. You also have Hartford at 53, Danbury at 52, and New Haven and Torrington both at 51. Now we'll head into the 7-day forecast coming up on your screen. We got some good days coming up. As I mentioned earlier in the tease, we had a little bit of rain going on today towards the end of the day with a high of 63, currently low of 50 right now. As we extend it to the next couple of days, Thursday and Friday, 70 and 69 for those. You can see a little bit of sun and clouds for tomorrow, so a better day tomorrow, but Friday we're going to get some more rain again with a high of 69, low of 42. Now heading into the weekend now, I'm going to step this way actually. Saturday and Sunday, high of 60 and 58. Saturday, you're going to have some good temperatures out there with some sun, so make sure to get your softballs out, play some frisbee, all the good stuff. But Sunday, a little more of a work day. It's going to be rainy. Monday and Tuesday, as you can see, 47 and 53. Temperatures getting a little bit cooler over there, but sun and clouds for the rest of the day. That's all for me for the weather, guys. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Eric. After Quinnipiac's decision to require students to live on campus for 3 years, Kate Pattyfoot went to go see how this decision is now affecting the town of Hamden.
If you're going to be an incoming first year next fall, this will be your home for the next 3 years. Most students tend to live off campus in non-QU affiliated houses for different reasons.
I lived off campus starting my junior year. It has definitely saved me a lot of money and has given me the ability to kind of grow up into myself and being independent and mature on my own.
And I have clinical that I get back at like 12 o'clock at night, so having just the ease and not having to worry about walking from the parking garage to my dorm and having to kind of like wake my roommates up when they're sleeping obviously at midnight, so it's offered a lot of freedom and I've really enjoyed it.
Mark Austin, Hamden's acting town planner, says Quinnipiac students generate a lot of money for the town.
We have over 550 student housing permits here in town. So there's a lot of student housing in town that generates a great deal of rental, at least rental income, $16 million in just rent that comes to the town. So if you think 4 students per house, $800 per month for students, that's a lot of money for just a 9-month period.
Marissa Lamb, a senior, says this new rule is a financial issue.
Freshmen to have to live on campus for the next 3 years, I think it's definitely a huge financial issue because at the end of the day, the calculations, at least for myself, came down to $9,000 cheaper for living off campus.
However, students do have a plethora of options to live their senior year. Most of the houses that are behind me are all Quinnipiac-owned property. Now students can start living in these homes once they complete their 3 years of living on campus. For Q30 News, I'm Kate Pattyfoot.
There's been a lot happening in and around Washington, D.C. Let's head to Carly McManus to give us a recap of what's going on. Carly?
Hi, BOBCATS. I'm Carly, and I'm here with this week's political news. A lot has been happening, so let's recap with this past week in Miami. They have gone into lockdown after a rise in spring breakers partying throughout the city. Many people stating there have been, quote, chaotic scenes, end quote, showing maskless spring breakers drinking and partying in the streets in rebellion of curfew orders. Miami serves as a very popular place for students to visit during their spring break, but due to COVID, many are worried that the continued parties will lead to more COVID outbreaks. This comes after the country starting to see a steady decline in COVID cases. The Miami police enforced restrictions and curfew on the area. This is to deter people from wanting to travel to the surrounding areas. The government of Florida has stated in a press conference this week, quote, our area has been a Tinder, end quote. Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gilbert said at a press conference Saturday, quote, and we can't have a policy of simply hoping it's not lit, end quote. If you're planning on traveling to Miami in the next few weeks, plan to mask up, be safe, and follow curfew. There has been $1 trillion job and infrastructure proposal implemented this past week. This reflects back to Joe Biden's campaign promise, Build Back Better. Everything is still preliminary. $1 trillion was added to roads and bridges and phone lines. This infrastructure project that also put money into clean energy. This part pertains to college students, where they have slowly begun phasing money into the community college. programs, and preschool, allowing them to hopefully be free one day. With all of these infrastructure growth objectives, this helps students enter a more demanding job market and allows many industries to get a kickstart to enter a more promising market hopes of the initiative by the end of the year, with Democrats looking to negotiate a deal and get the ball rolling. That's all I have for politics today. Back to the desk.
Well, Luca, it's time for one last commercial break.
When we get back, Kylesia Smith has a full sports update. Stay with us.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this. You will find something.
You will find something new.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
With spring sports in full swing, there is a lot to talk about.
Kylesia Smith is in the studio to give us a full sports update. Kylesia?
Well, guys, I'm going to kick it off with some awards for some special Bobcats. First, we have first-year field hockey goalkeeper Nina Santor. Santor received her second Big East Rookie of the Week honor. In Quinnipiac's 2 games last week, the first year went 1-1, making 19 saves and allowing 6 goals to score. Another first-year Bobcat who also received their second MAC Rookie of the Week honor was soccer forward Rebecca Cook. Cook led her team to a 2-2 tie against Ryder, the 2 goals coming from the first year herself. Fun fact, the last time a Bobcat ever was awarded Rookie of the Week twice in one season for this program was redshirt Kelly Goldgreen back in 2017. Moving over to the hardwood, breaking news, Quinnipiac men's basketball sophomore forward Seth Pinkney will soon be leaving the Bobcats as he has entered into the transfer portal. Pinkney averaged 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game, nearly shooting 80% from the floor. This news comes soon after the announcement was made that a former teammate was bringing his talents back to Quinnipiac for his last year forward Kevin Marfo. There hasn't been any more information yet as to where he is planning on going, but the question is, what is head coach Baker Dunleavy going to do to fill that 7-footer shoes? Skating to the ice, the men's ice hockey faced St. Lawrence this past weekend in the ECAC Hockey Championship contest and lost 3-2 in overtime. It was a major upset as the Bobcats led the conference and just defeated the Saints just a few weeks prior. As the Bobcats were in complete and utter disappointment, thinking that their season was over, boy did those tables turn. Just 24 hours later, it was announced that St. Lawrence was no longer able to accept their bid into the NCAA tournament due to a positive COVID test within their Tier 1 personnel. So that opened the door for the Bobcats to take their place and will now hit the road to Colorado to match up against Minnesota State this Saturday for the first round of NCAA play. Guys, that's all I have for Quinnipiac Sports News. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, I can't say that I'm really knowledgeable in sports, but I'm so glad that we can have someone on our show to tell us all about it.
Yes, I'm so happy that spring sports are in full swing and that now crowds can go and cheer on their favorite teams. But that is all the time that we have for today's show. Please make sure to check out all Q30 content on Q30TV.com and also on the new app. For all the producers and everyone else behind the scenes, I'm Maggie Smith.
And I'm Luca Triant. Good night, Bobcats.